I think we're live. Great. Hey everybody, welcome. Long time no see. Or maybe not. Depends on, well, I don't know how time works on the internet, because there are times when I've watched something and the person who, let's say it's YouTube, the person who made the video I'm watching maybe hasn't made a video in a long time, and then they post a video. Well, to me, it's been not a long time, but to them, it's been a month, 2 months, 3 months, so time works in a strange way. I don't completely understand it. Anyway, let me zoom in a little bit here. I guess it's okay. I think we're okay. Shall I do this? Shall I do this? Shall I move myself over? Yes, I shall. I shall. Ah. Eh. Ah. Ooh. Hey. That's how, and that is how the sausage gets made. All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Luke. I will be your teacher for this live class. Let's just call it a live stream, okay? We don't have to call everything a class, right? I might stop calling things classes, because it's not really a class, is it? I'm answering questions. If you have questions about pronunciation, grammar, idioms, phrases, culture, study methods, whatever it may be, just ask, and I will do my best to answer. Also have some interesting things to share today, and an important announcement, so we'll talk about that soon. Give me 1 second while I do a thing, as I usually have to do, and then we'll kick it off. If you don't know, kick it off means start. That's what kick it off means. Doesn't sound like it means start, right? What do you mean kick it off means start? How does that mean start? Yeah, let's kick it off means let's get started. That's what it means. It sounds like an ending thing, right? Hey, kick it off, but no. But no, unfortunately, no. All right, I have to just quickly update the thumbnail for the stream, and then we'll kick it off. I didn't even plan that. Okay. All right. Share to the WhatsApp group. I also want to just put this out there. Those who have been watching my videos for a while, if any of you are very dedicated to learning and want to have a better community, more community, and feel like you have enough free time so that you could take on a project, and you feel that you're a reliable and responsible person and not crazy, and you're interested in the idea of running a Discord and or Reddit community, reach out. It would be something I'd like to do, but more in collaboration with someone or some people who could dedicate the time to doing the daily stuff, and of course get a lot out of it for the interaction and the process for your English, of course. But if anyone is interested in collaborating in that sort of way, I'm certainly interested in doing that. I just don't have the time, energy, bandwidth at the moment to get something like that started. So it's something I really want to explore in the future, and simply do not have the bandwidth for. I know what bandwidth I have, and that is not one of the things I can do. But here we are. Here we are live. At least we're doing that. Hey. All right. Rod's here. Good. Carlos Eder Che Guevara. Oh, the one and only. Very important figure. I thought you'd died, but maybe a different Che Guevara. Great. The video quality is lit. Well, that's a good thing. Thanks. Much appreciated. Who else do we have here? Muhammad is here. No pain, no gain philosophy. All right, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. Okay. Rod, interesting that you bring that. Okay, we can discuss it, but I sense a potential conflict of interest if you're already running an English channel. I'm looking for dedicated cloud English only sort of deal, so we can discuss it certainly. All right. Hey, here at the start, guys, would be much appreciated if you could hit the like or the thumbs up button, help out the channel. That helps out more than you potentially realize. So do that. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. And one thing I just want to bring up on Tuesday? No, Monday? On Monday, I launched a new course. I haven't launched a course in more than a year and a half. So I've launched a new course, and I want to give a quick intro about the course. So this is a course about American pronunciation. It is about 9 hours long. It covers pretty much everything. Similar sounds, difficult sounds, flow in pronunciation, of course everything with lots and lots of examples. We talk about diphthongs, we talk about everything, consonant sounds, vowel sounds, rules, stress, everything. So if you feel like, hey, it's time I get serious with my pronunciation, it's a very different thing from the videos that I do. They're usually short. I want to make videos fairly short, and if you want to focus on dedicated materials exclusively for pronunciation, it is 9 hours of content, so it's very in-depth. There's a lot of explanation, all of that stuff. Then you can click on the link. The link in the description below. If you click on that, you will get a discount, and that discount is the lowest price that this course can be offered at ever. It's not allowed to be offered at a lower price. Okay, so that is as low as it will ever go. So if you're on the fence, should I pick up this course? Maybe it'll be cheaper in the future. It won't. It can't be. I'm not allowed to offer it at a lower price. So check that out. I spent a lot of time on it. And I'm very proud of it. And I think it will be quite helpful to English learners. Nathan, is not in real time? No, in fact, it's not. This is pre-recorded. How did I know you were going to ask that? That's the thing to really wonder about. Lolly Lolly is here. I call Lolly Lolly the OG live stream participant. OG. That's a good thing, by the way, not a bad thing. Say my name, please. It's hard to read. I'll attempt it if you ask an interesting question. Then I'll attempt it. I'll at least try. I'll at least try my best. Naba Natusen. Nathusen or Natusen? Natusen Nathun. Sri Lanka. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Vitaly, what's your goal in life? What is your dream? Wow, that's an interesting one. My goal in life, I think, my goal in life is my dream. Can I have a continuing, sort of an ongoing thing? My goal in life, my dream, is to be able to always create new things that interest and excite me, that I feel enthusiastic and passionate about. And if I can always do things like that, that in the moment I feel like I'm lost in it because I love it so much, it's so interesting. Whatever it is, whether it's creating courses or, I am involved in a lot of different stuff. I have a podcast, I do a lot of things. As long as I'm interested in it and I can continue doing that and it is in some way creating something, I think I'll be happy. So my dream is to continue doing that because I'm able to do that now, which is great. So my dream is to be able to not have to stop doing that. Of course, that may change, throughout my life, but the common characteristics would be to be able to create new things. I love the creative process. I find it deeply interesting and engaging. Hey, Luba's here. Welcome. And Sanzar is here. It is a deep question. That's a good one. Thanks for asking that. Okay. I think we can take some of these. I do have a topic planned as well, but if you want to hang out, that's okay too. Karina, great to see you as well. Karina's here from Facebook. Abdal Salam is here from Facebook. Yes. Again, those joining, questions, pronunciation, culture, idioms, study methods, practice methods, whatever it is, feel free to ask. This is going to be mostly Q&A. I do have something planned for later on that we'll get to. And once you're in, don't forget to hit the like button. That helps a lot. Okay. Let's get to these questions. Muhammad Shakar says, "Hey Luke, do you believe the no pain, no gain philosophy when it comes to language learning? To me, I don't believe it because learners can choose a natural way to enjoy the process. Your opinion?" So this is a really interesting one. This is not about actually learning. It's more about the attitude toward learning, right? Can you learn in a natural way? Of course. Someone who is immersed, for example, in the United States, in a job, communicating on a daily basis with native English speakers, who's watching movies and doing social activities in English, over time, this person, if they're genuinely open-minded and curious, will pick up the language, not just the language, but the cultural background of the language, which is also important. I can't remember which philosopher it was. It might have been Al-Farabi, who said, it was him that translated it. Anyway, he was reading Socrates via Plato, and he couldn't understand it because of all of the, it was Aristotle. He was reading Aristotle, and he couldn't understand it, not because he couldn't understand the words there. It was translated, right? He couldn't understand it because he didn't understand the context, the social background. So then, I'm getting my history mixed up. It was either he or someone before him then was able to interpret Aristotle within the context of his culture. And again, I can't remember if it was Al-Farabi who did the translation and interpretation, or he was the one who got it from someone else. Anyway, beside the point. The point is, it's not just about learning words or learning idioms. It's about learning that in the context of the culture, in the situations in which a native English speaker will learn those, right? So that's important too, and you would get that with immersion. If you have that environment around you where you can create that environment, even if you're not living in a native English speaking country, and you enjoy that process, great. That is a fantastic way to learn. But the other part of this question is, what about no pain, no gain? So I think that can work too. things when it comes to language are not binary. It's either this or it's that. Right? It's hard to say because people are different. If someone is able to absorb things from their environment, loves the process of engaging with others, and can pick things up in that way, and can get a feeling for the context and the situation and the usage and all that, great. Then that person may not need the no pain, no gain way, because that's how they are. That's kind of their personality style, and that's how they absorb things. But if it's another type of person who maybe isn't as social or doesn't have that sort of surrounding and doesn't really like to pursue their interests in the English language, which is, by the way, another way to gain English immersion, is to surround yourself in the English language with your interests, by following your interests. Maybe some people don't really like that style, don't get very much out of that style. Well, then maybe those people need the no pain, no gain approach in order to retain things, remember things, learn vocabulary. I think there's always going to be a little aspect of no pain, no gain for everybody, because there will be some activities you have to do. Let's say you're living in that native English-speaking country, you have that environment, but you've got to learn how to write emails. Because in the workplace, if you have terrible, sloppy, poorly written emails, then people are going to judge you for that. So, okay, I have to learn how to write emails. I'm going to master punctuation, not that hard, but I've got to learn it. Okay, that's kind of painful. So that would be no pain, no gain, right? No pain, no gain. Means you have to do something difficult and struggle a little bit, hurt yourself in that way in order to get something. I think there's always a small aspect of that, even for those who like to learn the other way, the fun way, the engaging way. But that doesn't mean that that way can't work for many people, because I know learners who prefer that style, study, practice, exercises, and that's perfectly good too. In fact, in some ways, that can be faster, because those people in your workplace, they're not necessarily teaching you stuff, right? But if you're sitting down, practicing something, doing exercises, then you might actually improve faster than the other person, because you're doing dedicated exercises. You're sitting down with a teacher and practicing. That might be more difficult. It might not be as fun, but you might make progress more quickly, because maybe you're getting feedback, because you're doing things specifically to learn the language, to master the language, right? And not just for work and, oh, by the way, you improve your English. So each side has their pros and cons. I would say, ideally, you would find something in the middle where you would have some English immersion. You would be able to have English around you and use English on a daily basis, but you would also set aside time for dedicated, specific, painful exercises and practice. Pronunciation practice, recording yourself, giving yourself feedback, doing exercises to improve listening, for example, can take your English to the next level and supplement the immersion part. So if you have a bit of both, I think you'll improve faster. You will have the context, you'll have a more engaging way to learn, but also you'll have that slightly more difficult style of learning that might push you forward faster. So I hope that all makes sense. I know it's a somewhat long explanation, but that would be my recommendation. That's a great question from Mohammed. Awesome question. If you guys haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button or the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and you can check out my full English courses, including my latest pronunciation course, in the links in the description. All right. Great question, actually, from Mohammed. Awesome. Uncle Ben is here. Hey, hello. Please make much more culture aspects webinars. Hey, that's a good idea. Webinars are something I'm interested in. And culture stuff, absolutely. If anyone has specific culture stuff they would like to cover, they would like to focus on, talk about, definitely send your ideas to me. you can send them to luke@cloudenglish.net, luke@cloudenglish.net. Give me a list of ideas. I keep track of everything. That doesn't mean I promise I will get to it, because I have to look at it, but I love to get ideas specifically for culture stuff. So yes. My tongue muscle's always out of control, out of my mind, says Cherry Lung. So yeah, this is an interesting question from Cherry. Long time no watch your streaming. Recently I was fighting the R sound all the time. Me who from Hong Kong, R is difficult to pronounce. Okay. Cherry, I'm not just trying to push something on you, but I mean, I think you should really check out the course. But let me give it a simple answer to your question, and then if you really want to practice it, check it out. Okay, so Cherry says, "Hi Luke, long time no watch your streaming. Recently I was fighting on R sound all the time. As me who comes from Hong Kong, pronounce R sound correctly is extremely difficult." Yes, so this is something that's more common in the south of China. So if you take Chinese, there's no such thing as just Chinese. It's a variety of different dialects. The main two would be what we call Mandarin and Cantonese, and then also two different writing styles, simplified and traditional, and then a number of other dialects. And anyway, it's a very interesting language. But in the south of China, you tend to have, including Hong Kong, you tend to have a specific R sound that's quite flat, and that makes it difficult when someone from that specific dialect, or someone else who's struggling with the R sound, wants to say it in, for example, the American style. And it can cause misunderstandings, which is inconvenient, right? So how do we say the R sound? Well, I will teach you how to say it, but I want to note something important before I do. There's a very big difference between how and a skill. It's very important to remember. For whatever reason, a lot of English learners tend to look at pronunciation and other aspects of language learning as, oh, thanks for teaching me that, now I know. So now it will be different. When in fact it's more like a skill that you learn, and the how part is just the first step. And there are many steps after that to master it, to be in the habit of using it, right? So that's the trick. That's the difficult part. It's actually not that hard, Cherry, to make the R sound. I'll teach you how to do it. The hard part is to remember to do it when you're speaking. And in fact, if you're trying to talk about something and remember the R sound, the position in your mouth where you put your tongue, more than likely you're going to forget. And this is true for any other pronunciation you might learn. More than likely you're going to forget because you're focused on what you're saying. So it's very important once you learn it to then build it into your habits. And this is something that we talk about in the pronunciation course. How do you take that now and burn it into your habit mind, your muscle memory? How do you do that? Learning is just one part, right? So keep that in mind. So how do you say the R sound? Pretty simple. So if you open your mouth about this wide, okay, and then you use your voice to push sound outward with your tongue just sitting neutrally in the middle of your mouth. Don't push it up, don't push it down, just leave it flat. Try it. Try to say it. Make that sound. If you do that, it should sound like this. All right. Easy enough, right? The tongue is not really touching anything. It's in the middle of the mouth. I'm just just using my voice to make a sound. Right? Okay. Now, move your tongue upward, but don't touch it against the roof of your mouth. The roof of your mouth is here. That's the roof of your mouth. Don't actually touch it there. Curl it upward in this way. Curl it up. That's the only change you're making, by the way, right now. The only change you're making with your mouth, leave it where it was before, and now just curl it upward. Okay. Now the sides of my tongue are touching a little bit near my teeth, but the tip of my tongue is not touching the roof of my mouth. Let's see how that sounds. Just that one change. Curl it up. Now we compare the two. Now my mouth is frozen in place. I'm not moving anything else, right? Maybe slightly up and down because I need to move my mouth to get my tongue up there. Barely. But really the only thing that's changing is the position of my tongue. Once you get that, go back and forth between those two sounds to make sure you can hear the difference very clearly. If it sounds the same for both of them, then it's wrong. You can hear the difference if you close your eyes and really listen. Hear the difference? Now, what we usually do when we say the R sound is we also move the lips forward slightly, like this. But actually, you can do it without, because we just did it. So if I do that, if I do this, they're both pretty much the R sound. It's really about the tongue position. Now, that's step one. After that, it's all about mastering it. You have to make sure you got it. Now you have to make it a habit. How do you do that? Well, you've got to practice it. You've got to put it in different situations. You've got to fold it into words and sentences and do it many, many times so that you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's way more important than actually learning it. So that's where we'll stop for the question, because I feel like to really get into it, to really practice it, we would need an hour at least. If you want to learn more stuff like this about pronunciation, I just released a course, so check that out. 9 hours. If you want to study pronunciation for 9 hours with me doing what we just did, only for many English sounds, including diphthongs and all of that, you can check out the link in the description. The link in the description will have the course. Right now it's on sale, so check that out. And it's maybe not. Well, I try to make it fun, but if you go through that course, your pronunciation will definitely improve. It's very detailed with explanations of everything like we just did. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Cherry, great question. Thank you for the good question. It's a common issue. If you guys haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button or the thumbs up button. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. Check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. Great question from Cherry. Baizhang Wang is here. Personally, no pain, no gain is my thinking in life. Hey, way to go, Lolly. What kind of stuff do you use no pain, no gain for? Is that for everything in your life, just your work, the stuff that you learn? I'm curious. Kawani says, hey, moms. Hey, moms. Any moms watching? Hello. Love to have the moms here. What if this were a mom-only live stream? Karina says, by the way, what happened to movie days? I miss them. I miss them too. Here's maybe I can give a little background to what happened. So we spent a while watching movies together. It was not really a lesson, just watching movies, movie nights. But there are unfortunately very few movies that you can legally show that don't have a copyright protection, right? They're called royalty free. If it's royalty free, you can watch it, you can listen to it. So we were watching movies, and I was stopping it here and there to make some comments and share some of the language, but those were all royalty-free movies. But unfortunately, there are not very many of those, and it became a bit difficult to find good ones that we could watch together. So that's one reason why we didn't continue it. I'm looking at alternatives. There's one thing we could do. I don't know if you guys are interested in this. I've been thinking about doing something like a video game where there's a lot of talking, because there are some games where you have to do a lot of dialogue, and we could do that. I think like a walkthrough where we do a video game. That could be interesting. But yeah, if I find a better way to deliver video or full movies, and we can do that without getting, dinged on YouTube. Because for one of them, I thought it was royalty free, but it wasn't. 12 Angry Men, and then the stream got cut off, and that caused some channel problems. So you got to be careful. But I'd love to do it again. I'd love to. It was fun. My job is very demanding, says Lolly Lolly. I'm a mental health nurse in France. On the other hand, I'm struggling every day learning English. Wow, that's great, Lolly Lolly. Your job is maybe similar to I don't know exactly what you're doing, but maybe similar to my mother's job. My mother is a mental health counselor. She's not a nurse. She's a mental health counselor, so people come into her office and she talks with them, and maybe they're struggling with their marriage or addiction or something like that, or depression, whatever it may be, and she helps them in that way. So that's interesting. Very important job for sure. Lolly Lolly, if I tell you about my dreams, will you be able to interpret those for me? Will you be able to explain what's going on? All right, Vitali Verkash. Why don't you use what? Yeah, here you are, here you go, there you are, there you go. Let me think about that. Are they the same? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm feeling like they are not the same exactly in usage, I mean. But how do I explain that clearly on the spot? And here it is, there it is. Yeah. You stumped me. All right, I think I can attempt it. Okay. Vitali Verkash asks, hey Luke, can you please elaborate on the following phrases and tell when to use what? Here you are, here you go. There you are, there you go. And he's also added, here it is, there it is. This is really tough. In basic meaning, they are very similar, especially if we just look at the pairs with are and go. We can say those are the same. There you are, there you go. Here you are, here you go. If you look at those pairs, there you are, there you go. Then we can say they're the same meaning, but go feels less formal than are. It's not that there you are or here you are is very formal. It just has a slightly more formal feeling than using here you go and there you go. Just a little bit more. If we say there you go, it feels somewhat casual, quick, right, in the moment. So for slightly more casual situations with people you know a little bit better, you might use go. If you want to have a slight feeling of professionalism, you might say there you are, here you are. So it can be a bit more polite. And also, there it is. But there it is a little different. We'll talk about that. Now, the way to explore this, I think, because they all have the same essential meaning, the basic meaning, the way to explore this is specific cases where one would be used, but not the other two. So let's take here you are, there you are, and there it is. Let's just take these, okay? Here you are, there you are, and there it is. When would we say here you are when we wouldn't say the other two? Well, all of them kind of have the meaning of giving something. When you present something or give something to someone, to provide something to someone, generally you might use here you are. You might use there you are, right? So that's what they mostly have in common, at least in situations where you would be giving something in some way. But let's say you're a driver and you've arrived at the place where you're dropping off your passenger, okay? When you've arrived, we might say, here you are, here you go. Maybe, we might say that. Meaning, I've taken you to your destination. It's not focusing on the here part. The here part is like, I'm presenting something to you, right? We're focusing on the fact that this transaction is now done. It's often at the end of transactions when we use these. We wouldn't use there you are and there you go in that situation. There is an ongoing task which has been completed, and once that is completed, whether it's a transaction or something like driving someone to a place, we might say here you go and here you are. That would be pretty common, and in that situation, in the situation with the taxi or the Uber, we wouldn't say there you are, there you go. There you are and there you go. My sense of its usage tends to be more often used for things that take an instant, or you've asked me for it just now and then I provide it immediately. Like you hand me something that I have to sign, I sign it and I give it back to you and I say, there you go. But I could also say there, here you go, right? It's just a feeling sort of thing, a usage question. I might more often say, there you go, when I've completed something in the moment that you've asked me to do, and it's a quick thing and it doesn't take a long period of time. Now, there is a way to use there you go and there you are when we wouldn't use here you go and here you are. That would be when I've seen something that is a confirmation of another thing that I said earlier, right? So I said, today I think it might rain later. And you say, I don't think so. We can still go out. Then I check my phone, right? I say, there you go. Weather report says it's going to rain, 80% chance. There you go. It's sort of like I've proven or supported something that I said earlier. Now, in that situation, I probably wouldn't say, here you go, unless I'm handing you the phone, and the here you go is the earlier meaning we talked about. I've given you something. I've presented something. So you taking the phone, I'll say, here you go, take my phone. But if I'm talking about the support, the evidence, the stuff, the meaning that stands behind the statement or thing I said earlier, there you go. Sort of like proof of what I said being right. Weather report. That supports what I said earlier. There you go. There you are. 80% chance of rain. So that would be an example of using there you go or there you are instead of here you go and here you are. But again, for either one of those, we might, if we're just handing the phone, hey, can you hand me my phone? We might say, oh yeah, here you go. There you go. Now, if it's just a simple transaction where it's handing something to someone in a physical way, like a phone, and or a coffee cup, or something you've asked for, or a physical object, it's probably more common to use here you go instead of here you are. I will much more often, if someone says, could you give me that pen, say, yeah, here you go, instead of, yep, there you go, right? I will much more often use here you go instead of there you go when I give them that pen or give them the phone. Okay, so that's those two. Now, what about here it is, there it is? So that also could be used possibly in the taxi Uber situation when I'm pointing at the building. Yep, here it is. Or I'm the passenger and the driver doesn't know where to stop, and I want to point at a thing. And I'll say, here it is, here it is. This is the building. This is where I live. This is the address. But that's not quite the same meaning, is it? That's pointing out where something is, right? So here it is. Or, excuse me, there it is. And here it is. Both could be used to say, like a finger point, right there. Now, if it's very close to me, it's in my pocket and I pull it out, then I'll say, here it is. If it's a building over there, then I'll say, there it is. Here it is with me. There it is. Now, if you said, here it is about the building too, okay, that's fine. I'm pointing something out. Here it is and there it is. They're like a finger point, right? Now, how else could we use here it is and there it is? Often for discovery. So we're looking for something. We're trying to find something. Something is lost. Where is that receipt? We're looking. Look, where's the receipt? Where's the receipt? Here it is. Here it is. Could we use there it is? Yes. Depends on where it is. If it's near me and I'm standing there and I see it in front of me, I'll say, here it is. I found it. If it's farther away from me, I'll say, there it is instead. The line between here and there is not so clear. It's more relative to where you are. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. For example, the building, here it is, there it is, maybe doesn't matter so much as long as we're close to it. The receipt, if it's across the room and I'm moving closer toward it, maybe I could use here it is, but probably there it is. If it's immediately near me, then I'll say probably here it is. So I hope that makes sense. I know that's a lot. This is a tough question. I would encourage you to explore all of these, examples of all of these on thefreedictionary.com. You can find more examples. That's a great website for finding examples of idioms and phrases. And hopefully this gives you at least a sense of the different ways in which we can use these. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button or thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. And also check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. Wow, that's a tough question. And I think we could probably, we could probably go into more depth if we had more time, or I could research more examples. I think we could probably come up with more, but good free websites to watch English movies. YouTube does have free movies with ads. So you can watch free movies on YouTube. They will have ads. I think IMDb has also free movies with ads. And then there's another one called, what's it called? What is that called? Well, let me get my phone out because I have the app on my phone. I think it's their fault for not being more memorable. Does that make sense? Amber Alert. We get Amber Alerts when we have to look out for some dangerous person or someone's been kidnapped or something like that. I've got an Amber Alert. What is that app called? I don't know if it's available in all countries, but we have it here. It's like free TV and free movies. Entertainment. Maybe I don't have it on my phone. Oh, Pluto. Yes, it's an app called Pluto TV. Pluto TV. Pluto TV. They have TV shows, TV series for free. They have movies for free. Of course, not every movie or TV show, but they have quite a few available. So the ones I would recommend: Pluto, YouTube, and I think, as I mentioned, IMDb. IMDb also offers some free movies. Each one, of course, will have a limited selection, but and you have to watch ads, of course, but those should be available. Although I'm not sure about the availability in every country, because a lot of these entertainment apps, they'll be available in one country but not in others. Even within one app, for example, Netflix. Well, if I go on Netflix in the United States, I cannot watch Studio Ghibli movies, like Miyazaki movies, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. Those are available, though, in Japan. So there are different things available in different countries. It's complicated. Ahmed says, I'm stuck with intermediate vocabulary. How can I upgrade my level? It really depends on whether that means your usage, your knowledge. Sometimes people know more vocabulary than they can use. A lot of things. I would need to know more, I think, before I could go into more detail there. What's your favorite movie, Luke? I don't know. A lot of movies. I like a lot of movies. I usually tell people my favorite movie is The Fountain, but that's just to give a simple answer. I like The Fountain, but I don't know if it's actually my favorite. I don't quite understand what favorite means, to be totally honest with you. People say, what's your favorite something? It's a constantly shifting thing. So I don't even know if I understand fully what it means to have a favorite. But I'm going to go with The Fountain, because I like that movie a lot. It's very good. But that may be my opinion from the past that I'm just used to saying. I have to admit that. I may not actually think that anymore. Maybe if I watched it again, I wouldn't like it. I wonder how often that happens, where we say things because we're used to saying them, rather than each time thinking about it from scratch. Like writing essays depends on intermediate language. That is true. Okay, well, I mean, I would strongly recommend, if you're not a reader, to be a reader, right? Ahmed says, I'm stuck with intermediate vocabulary. How can I upgrade my level? And then adds, when I write essays, I need to use intermediate language. So for this one, if you need to know more words and you need to know how to use more words, and especially if you need to improve your writing, you really need to be a serious reader. You cannot expect to be good at writing if you're not a very competent reader, especially if you're reading for enjoyment. If you have a foundation of the language in text, meaning you read books regularly, you sometimes check new words and look at the context within a sentence, you're going to have a huge advantage over English learners who are not doing that. Think about every native English speaker. Pretty much every native English speaker grew up reading books in their childhood, went to school, had to read books in middle school, high school. I had to read a bunch of books. You have to. Well, and I love reading, so I've been reading since before I was born. So if that's what native English speakers do, can we say, well, yeah, but we don't really need to do that. If we want to master the English language, we can skip that part. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe that part of it is an important part of what allows a native English speaker as an adult to be able to use their language naturally. Especially someone who sounds well educated, right? Very likely, one of the things that has contributed to that educated sound, I don't sound very educated. One of the things that has contributed to that is the fact that they are a reader and have been a reader and did a lot of reading in school. Because that's how you acquire, one way that you acquire vocabulary. You will acquire vocabulary from daily usage, being surrounded by the language. But I would guess if you listen to two native English speakers, the same age, one who had spent their whole life reading books, the other who had read maybe one or two books in their entire life, you would notice the difference. You would be able to tell that person's a reader, that person's not. You would be able to tell. I'm 99% sure. So it does make a difference. It contributes to your ability to use the language, your knowledge of different structures, patterns, idioms, phrases, ideas, right? It's a way to constantly, it's a wealth, it's a resource to constantly get more stuff that you can then use, especially if you're getting that in context, which you get when you read a book, okay? So as an English learner, to decide not to do that would be to say, I'm not going to really have a lot of input. I'm not going to have a lot of that raw material that a native English speaker would have. And yet I expect to have good English, to be able to use the English language well. Well, that doesn't really make sense, does it? How can you get one without the other? Well, maybe you can, but it's going to be quite a challenge, especially if you're trying to write something, right? So I maintain that having that foundation of reading is essential for being able to use the language naturally. Because as you read, even if you're not studying every single sentence and writing down every new word, even if you're not doing that, you're reading for enjoyment, you're going to be picking up naturally grammar structures, patterns, idioms, phrases, cultural background, all of those things, and it's going to weave together a foundation that's going to support you whenever you need to use the language, and you're going to be able to pull from that vast resource. The more you read, the better. There it is when you need it. That word, that structure, that pattern, that idiom, that style of sentence, better context, not better context. The context will give you better usage of the language, including better syntax. That's the word I was trying to find. Syntax is the ability to use different kinds of sentences, different patterns together, right? So you get that from reading in large part. Find books you enjoy, read what you like. I recommend nonfiction because it's a little easier to read than fiction, actually. It's usually written at around an 8th grade level. Read regularly and practice writing. Write short essays. And make sure you get some feedback on it. If you have a friend who's also learning English, give it to them. Have them look at it. Give them some feedback. Give you some feedback. Go back and forth if you've both written something. This process is good. And always, always keep reading. But read for fun. And always, when you're learning words, learn them in context, in the situation that you find them in. So I hope that helps. Good question, Ahmed. If you guys haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And of course, check out my full courses in the links in the description. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, new course available, pronunciation course. It is about all different aspects of pronunciation, difficult sounds, similar sounds, rules, stress, intonation, syllables, flow, full examples, short examples. It's 9 hours long, nearly 9 hours long. It's a complete course, and it will also help you build pronunciation habits. For a very short time, it is a very good price, the lowest price that I'm able to offer the course at. So you can click on the link in the description. There you can watch a free preview of the course, and you can also watch the first 3 lessons of the course. It's more of an introduction of what the course will cover, but you can watch that part as well. And then I would recommend signing up if you need to improve your pronunciation. If you're serious about doing so, that would be the course to check out. So that is in the link in the description. It should be the first link. Special discount code. It's like 90% off. It's a launch price. All right. I have a topic I want to talk about, if that's okay with everybody. After I drink some coffee. Elif says, hey Luke, have you made an English interview video on your channel, or have you created a course on Udemy about English interviews? I have. I have a 3-hour course on interviews that's quite popular, and that is also, it's on Udemy, it's on my website. Yes, check that out as well. Yep. Available. Full course. That one looks like, I can show you what that looks like. Yeah. That one looks like this. Oh, this is also on sale. I didn't put it on sale. It's on sale from Udemy. It looks like there's a course. All the courses are on sale right now. Wow, amazing. Not as big a sale as the new one, but still big sale. That's what it looks like. That's the cover. If I can get it to focus. That is the cover. It's black. Got a picture of me. It's called Mastering Job Interview English. Learn the English skills and techniques you need to answer over 50 common English interview questions and much more, including looking at a resume, which is very important. Average rating 4.6 out of 5, which is good. 326 ratings. Yeah, the new course, if you take that one, feel free to give it a rating as well. The ratings are important, especially right at the launch of a new course. Okay. All right. One of the most common questions that I get is about speaking confidence. When you're speaking English, you feel nervous, shy, afraid to speak. You can't get the words out. I know English, but I can't get the words out when I need them in a conversation. Well, what's the point of knowing English if you can't use it when you need it, right? So half of the battle is confidence. And this may be true for some native English speakers who have a bit of social anxiety. How do you achieve confidence in speaking? That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you some tips, but first I want to ask a question. Is there a connection between how good you are at something and your confidence? Well, I'd like you to think about your life experience. Do you know anyone who's very confident about something, but actually they're not very good at that thing? I'm sure you do. Maybe you've seen a TV show where there's a singing competition and someone is trying to sing and they think they're the best singer in the world. They think they genuinely believe they're going to win the competition, and it's, terrible singing, right? Well, that person is very confident, but there's not a connection to skill. So that means that maybe being good at something can build your confidence. In fact, it can. But it doesn't have to be a direct connection between skill and confidence. You can have confidence whether you're very good or not. And this is absolutely true in my experience working with English learners over the past 10 years. Some English learners are so good at English technically, but their confidence kills them. They have no confidence, so they can barely speak in a conversation even though they're very, very good. Some people have very low English, very poor English skills, but their confidence is insanely high. In that case, it usually helps them because they can interact at least with others. They can learn faster because they're willing to try things, right? So I want to make the case that you should be confident no matter what, and you shouldn't worry too much about being wrong, about making mistakes. And that if you worry too much, you may actually prevent yourself from learning more quickly, and you may actually limit your growth as an English learner. And that's not something that you want. So not necessarily a connection. Now I want to bring up one little story that you've probably heard before. There is a Native American parable or story that I heard a long time ago. I believe it's a Cherokee story. A young person comes up to an elder in the tribe and says, "I have a war going on inside me. Fight." And the old man says, the elder in the tribe says, this is the fight between good and evil. On one side, you have all the things that are good. Let's call it a wolf. This is courage. This is kindness. This is whatever it is, compassion. And then you have another wolf, the dark wolf, on the other side, which is envy, which is greed, which is cruelty. So the good wolf and the bad wolf, and they're fighting inside of you. And the young person says to the elder, which one will win? And the elder says, whichever one you feed. And I think that's a great story. What does that mean? Well, if you have negative thoughts and you allow yourself to continue to have negative thoughts and you feed that wolf, then you're going to get into the habit of having only negative thoughts. I'm sure you know people like this. On the other hand, if you start to believe in yourself, you start to take the first step, you start to break through your shyness or your fear of speaking, you're going to start feeding that wolf. And the wolf of shyness and fear and overthinking will gradually fade. So don't assume that this is just the way I am. I'm just shy. I'm just afraid to speak. It's not necessarily. If you start feeding the other wolf, eventually your confidence will grow and it will become a habit, and the other wolf will start to get smaller and smaller and fade away. This is absolutely the case for me. When I was in high school, I was super shy. I didn't talk to many people at all. I didn't like to talk to people. I was worried what they might think of me. That is not the case now. Over a period of time, I stopped feeding that wolf and started feeding the other wolf, and I have no difficulty with social interaction, and here I am now talking to you. So this really is just a process, and you have to just start. Now, one other thing I think is important to keep in mind is that only you are able to see yourself with both all of your good points and all of your bad points. We tend to overthink, people who have especially shyness about speaking English, we tend to overthink what other people think about us. So rather than seeing yourself as they actually see you, other people, you see yourself as you see you, but through eyes of judgment, right? So do you think if you make mistakes, other people are thinking, what an idiot, stupid, that was a mistake, grammar issue, Do you think that people are doing that when you're speaking English? You may think that. A lot of people do. Very likely, they're not. What you're seeing is what you think about yourself, but you're printing that or projecting that onto other people, and then adding to that judgment. So, in fact, they don't have the whole picture. They just see a person who's trying to speak. They probably don't really notice or care that you made a mistake. They're probably thinking about themselves, about their own issues, right? I work with a lot of English learners, and the ones who don't really care, hey, I made a mistake, it's no big deal, and tend to just try and realize that I don't really care. It doesn't offend me if people make mistakes or say something in a strange way. I don't care. It doesn't bother me, right? The people who are more like that tend to improve much, much faster. And they have better conversations, and they're more able to make friends more easily. So that's very important to keep in mind. The important thing is to remember only one person has full knowledge of both the pros and the cons of you, and that is you, and nobody else. And most people are too busy to care about everything that you think that they might care about. That has always helped me. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you keep that in mind, that nobody really cares and that they're going about their day and that they're busy thinking about their own things, that can free you. Oh, they don't care. Okay, well then what do I have to lose? Oh, I have nothing to lose. If you have nothing to lose, then you can feel relaxed. You can feel comfortable. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll just try. And if I make a mistake, no big deal. So I would encourage you to just start. And once you get into the habits, the right habits, feeding the right wolf, then you'll feel, oh, I can do this. And then the next step will be even easier. And the next step will be even easier. So we think, oh, I have so much to go, right? Mastering English, speaking, having conversations, doing all those difficult things, a job interview is so difficult. The mountain is so large, I'll never make it. So I won't even start. But in fact, the first step may be one of the hardest steps. Well, if the first step is one of the hardest steps, that means just trying, just doing something, putting yourself out there. If that step is one of the hardest steps, and step 2 is a little easier and a little easier and a little easier, then by the time you get to step 99, you already have all the habits you need to at least be speaking, be communicating, be expressing yourself, having conversations, making friends, all of those things. And you're still working on improving your grammar and all that stuff. You're still working on your English, but by that time you've built all of the correct habits. So if you know that step 1 is the hardest step, then just take step 1. And then after that, it gets easier and easier because you're feeding the right wolf, because you're building the right habits. And that is the key. So if you have an issue with confidence in your speaking, I would encourage you to try something. Do something you're afraid of. Take that first step. Have a conversation. Make a video. Whatever it may be, whatever thing you fear, take that step. And you'll find, as you keep going, that it gets easier, you improve faster, your confidence grows, and you'll get all of the benefits that come along with having better, more confident English. Okay, so I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, and check out my full courses in the links in the description. Okay. Let's see if I've missed any questions. Why are there more prepositions about English than other languages? That's a good question, Angela. I honestly don't know the answer why there are more. If I were to guess, I would say it's something like English is very modular. It's made up of little pieces, and other languages are not all languages. Some languages are not quite as modular. So we have to build every little piece of the sentence. And so there's a lot of room then for prepositions that place things or reference things in different ways. That's just my guess. I'm not exactly sure why that would be just my guess. Lolly Lolly will not interpret my dreams. Oh no. All right. I'm just reviewing in case I missed any questions. Luke, do you have a Twitch account? I think so. I think we might be on Twitch right now. I should know that. Let me search it. Let's see. Let's see. Twitch, and then I'm going to search Cloud English. Cloud English is live right now. Is that really me? Yes, it's really me. I'm not super active, dedicated on Twitch. It just seems like I don't think there's really a large user base on Twitch following English learning content. It's generally much more popular on YouTube and Facebook. I stream on Twitch because I can. If that starts growing, I will definitely pay more attention to it and maybe do exclusive streams. I just think right now at this stage, maybe not a lot of English learning content there. Let's see. Or maybe there are. I don't know. You know what I'd like to do, though? One thing I'd like to try is to see if we could do some gaming. Because if we learn English with games, that could be, it's a great way to practice and learn things. That could be a good way for us to not have to worry too much about the copyright stuff, because the gaming channel is no problem, and also learn through the dialogue in the games. So I might find a good game and eventually do some game streaming. I tried it before, but I was just streaming games, not really to learn English. So. Do you have a Twitch account, Vitali? Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the interview with Rod as well. Hey, Zime Fernando, welcome. Greetings. Hello, Mexico. All right. Sorry, I'm just checking my email. What am I doing checking my email? Well, I think we'll call it a day. I'm planning on doing another live stream, assuming all goes well, tomorrow. So check back tomorrow. Questions, if you've got those. If I didn't answer yours, or you think of one, Join tomorrow. We'll probably start around the same time, maybe a little bit earlier. And otherwise, I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Take care. Hope your work weeks are going well. Yep, thanks so much for joining. Guys, don't forget to hit the like if you haven't done so already. Subscribe and follow. And one more mention of the course. New course out, special price. Price has never been lower, will never be lower. It's the lowest possible price, 9 hours. Pronunciation course. So if you're working on your pronunciation, now's the time to grab it. That discount code is in the link in the description, so check that out. And I will see you all in the next one, which will be tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.